This is actually the business school in action, how to solve a case. Now what I'm going to share with you a comprehensive guide for business students on how they can excel in case crunch competition. Now excelling in case crunch competition is just one thing basically, right? That is something that anybody will do. So excelling in case crunch competition is one thing basically, right? But it is not about only about excelling in this case crunch competition or something. It is also about being a actual winner in the life basically, right? So let me just go to the next slide. Okay, what we will talk about today, and people who are joining, let me know, I'll keep on continuing to admit them, right? Okay, so what we are going to talk about today is that the process of solving a case, number one. Okay, how do we should you should go about solving a case. Some of you would have already participated in case crunch competitions like this. For some of you, this is going to be a completely new experience, right? Then the qualities of a good case team. Now it's not an individual activity, it's a teamwork basically. If you are a good team player, you will win the game, right? And don't worry about what will happen if you don't qualify. You have given your best. So it's like Krishna telling Arjuna that do your best, forget about the results basically, right? Okay, then selection of the frameworks which we will apply to solve this particular problem which we have in mind right now. Then how to start solving a case basically. So what is the process of starting to solve a particular case. Now quantitative and qualitative findings which you should put as part of your recommendations, because any business decision you take, it has to be backed up by either qualitative findings or quantitative findings. Both are important and both should be there as part of your presentation basically. Then we'll talk about, towards the last, we'll talk about the case in particular, and what is the general direction for solving this particular case, right? This is the overall flow. Let me go to the next slide. So the process for solving a case is very simple. That now there are two ways to do it. One is individual case interview. Suppose the consulting companies come to our campus and they give you a case, then you start solving the case. Or this is the format of crunch wherein you will be able to kind of work on as a team and try to solve the problem statement basically, right? So first and foremost, whatever problem statement is given to you, always ensure that you kind of basically reiterate the problem statement with the case giver. So in our case, the case giver is that a case crunch business team, right? So you have to reiterate. Now we are not meeting them in person, we are only getting the solved case in our case. Then the second stage should be that clarifying questions basically. In this case, I would be answering some of your questions, and if there are some questions which are beyond the scope of what the information they have already shared with us, we might even try to send intelligent questions. My intelligent question means that the questions which should not be silly, or the questions for which you can't find solution via Google basically, right? So any intelligent questions which you have, which will help you in solving this case, we should generally ask the case interviewer in case you are being interviewed one-to-one. In our case, we might have to, you can consult with me, and if required, we will send the questions to the case crunch team. There are 3 professors who are the core team members. In case they answer, great. In case they do not answer, we will continue with our approach basically, whatever approach we are taking to solve this particular case, right? Then structuring and identifying problem drivers basically. Then next stage would be after clarifying questions. Now, if you look at the evaluation criteria for this case, you have been given marks based on what intelligent questions you are asking to the board members or the company basically, right? So make sure that you have your queries, intelligent queries in place. So then you structure the problem statement based on the frameworks which are available in market. Now each consulting company have their own frameworks to solve a particular problem, right? In our case, we will have our own framework, and there is no one framework which works. Now this is the good advice I am sharing with all of you. Don't just focus on one framework. Any business problem should entail utilizing multiple frameworks. Now each of these frameworks will help you in kind of creating a right solution basically, right? Then listing the solutions, then you have to finally make a listing of the solutions, the recommendation formats. Okay, and then after this you kind of final recommendation and synthesis. This is something that you will present to the board basically. Now, is there any questions till so far in the process of solving a case? Because some of you would be new, that's why I'm trying to explain the logical steps. In case you've already done it, great basically. Now, any questions so far on the process of solving a case? Have you understood? What do we mean by, yeah, please, yes.
I'm sorry, so I just wanted to ask, do they have a specified framework put in place, or is it flexible?
No, that is what you will decide that, yeah, that is what there are, if, have you seen my email which I have sent to you day before?
Yeah, I have seen that. So I was asking for the report writing, and there are presentations have given basic outline of it. So do we just refrain to that, or can we like
yes there no you have to, I'm coming to that part wherein we will talk about presentation, how you should make a presentation. I'm coming to that, I will answer your point. And guys, please participate, please ask questions, and whenever you are asking a question, please say your name and then start the question basically, so that everybody should know, right? Now then you make the final recommendations and synthesis of your recommendation. So the number of slides must be less, and ideally the presentation solution will start by having a executive summary slide, because sometimes you have to grab the attention of the board members. So if you start with the executive summary of your entire solution, approach, methodology, right, data, then it creates an initial first impression on the mind of board who's evaluating your case sufficient, which is never the case, so consulting means asking intelligent questions. So if you don't ask question in the first two stages, you have already lost the game basically. Are you getting my point? Is my point clear to all of you? That problem reiteration and the clarification questions are the most important stage for clarifying. So if you don't clarify, always reiterate the case by saying that if I have understood the case correctly, is this the problem statement we are going to solve? Let the client say yes, or let them say yes in case of interview, but right now we have to assume as a team basically. Now coming to the next part, the qualities of a good core case solving team role basically. Now number one is coachability and positive mindset basically. So we all have to work as a team with positive mindset, that we are the people who have been hired to solve this problem. So you are already empowered, work in a positive mindset. Okay, coachability. Now coachability means that if how positively you take the feedback and try to implement it. Now this is the quality which any company, any consulting company like Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, they would look at in you in case they were to hire you as a consultant in their company. Coachability. You might have less number of qualities, which is fine. You might not have good mindset, again fine. But if you are coachable, they will only look at, are you coachable? Are you taking feedback positively? If you lost the game, if you come fourth on the competition, are you still able to take the feedback in a positive way and then improve upon that? So that is what is coachability. So always ensure that you are coachable. If you are coachable, companies are there to welcome with you on a red carpet basically, right? Then positive mindset. Then coming to structured problem solving process. So you have to follow a structured problem solving process. Okay, I'll tell you what is that process. We'll discuss that. Then selection of a leader and division of work. Now this is very important for all of you, each one of you who's having the teams here. So immediately after this call, okay, select your team leader, somebody who has experienced similar case crunch scenarios before, and then let that leader define the work for each one of you, that what is the work you are supposed to do. Okay, each one of you, what is your strength? Based on individual strength, give them tasks to do as part of, let's say I have to make 5 slides out of this recommendation, right? So individually assign each slide to each one of you. Let everyone has a say in the case solving process, right? So that is the immediate step which I request from all of you. That so the next point which I was discussing was that immediately after this mentoring session, ensure to select a leader amongst your team and let the leader decide based on your individual strength. Let's say somebody would say that I'm good in presentation, somebody would say I'm good in research, somebody would say I'm good in creating charts. So independently give division of work to each and every one, basically, because they are also looking at your team handling capabilities as a team leader, right? Then business acumen and industry knowledge. Before you solve any case, okay, always type the name of the industry. Let's say in our case the industry is global gifting and reward software industry. Simply type that keyword, search in Google, go through all top 30 results. You will get enough idea about that industry, that this industry is popular in which particular countries, where this market is mature, what is the market size, what is the drivers for the industry, what are the shortcomings, what are the strengths and weaknesses. So always make sure that before you start the work, get a bigger picture, basically, and that is what will help you develop your business acumen and industry knowledge. Very, very important, basically. Then as Renu ma'am has already said, she covered some of my points, basically, that focus on professionalism while presenting, like be in formal dress and be courteous, say good morning to everyone or good afternoon based on the time frame. Then time management, very critical, be on sharp time, basically. Like I was let me explain you about little background of myself. I worked in industry for 23 years and I was handling global clients like GM, Microsoft, Nokia, Samsung and whatnot, basically, right? In my professional career, I worked with two of the global agencies, Ogilvy and Mather, MRM Worldwide, and I was also part of global headquarter team of GE. So time management, I was coming to time management. Now if 9 has been scheduled for you, be there 10 minutes before. For any meeting, be there 10 minutes in time. In case of your presentations also, follow the same schedule. Then always get the bigger picture of why we are doing this, basically. So some people have that capability of looking at the bigger picture of the things rather than getting into nitty-gritty. Now some people are good in going nitty-gritties into the case, right? So some people are like that. Then critical thinking, that don't accept facts as is unless you have your own argument or logic, basically, for a particular data or point. So give critical reasoning, critical thinking. Then excellent verbal and written communication skill is expected from all of you. So it's a teamwork. Don't think that you have to do everything, right? There is a team. In your team, one person might be of not a great caliber and one person would be of great caliber. As a team leader, you have to make use of everyone in the team and make the best out of them. So qualities of a good team, case solving team. Are we clear? Or any doubts? Let me go to the next slide. So if you are enthusiastic, it helps me, basically, right? Okay, now selection of a framework. Now these are multiple frameworks which you can use. The selection of a framework depends upon the core problem statement. Now sometimes you will get that direction of the framework in your question itself. Like in our case, the question itself says that it's a market entry problem, right? They want to enter into India, Singapore and Middle East market. They have already clearly defined the market entry word in the problem statement. So which clearly indicates that yes, this is the one of the framework we have to use. But you should never boil down to just one framework, as someone has already said. And you should always look at multiplications of formats in terms of selecting the solution. Now you could also look at profitability framework here. Okay, one market might be profitable, one market might not be profitable, right? You should look at growth prospects in a particular market. Okay, you could look at mergers and acquisition with existing companies over there, which are there in HR, human resource, consulting, or maybe industry domain, right? You will also have to do market sizing, that what is the size of the current rewards and compensation software market. Okay, then value chain might not be feasible here. So these are various frameworks. Now for you, if you have noticed my email before, some of these frameworks are already explained in that one of the link I have shared with you. There were 5 links I have shared. Now each one of that has a particular framework. So market entry is a framework already mentioned in that, right? Now these are other frameworks which you could consider while drafting or crafting a solution. Employee productivity. Okay, now employee productivity is something very, very important, because frameworks which you have to keep in mind while solving a case, basically. One is employee productivity, culture, basically. Now in our case, the word culture has been particularly used basically, right? So you have to have a transformative culture, or you have to have some solution pointers around culture also. So keep that culture word in mind, and employee culture will depend and vary from country to country. Like if you remember one more framework which is called pastel analysis. Pastel analysis is something which is used for external environment scan basically, right? Something called political, economical, okay, social, legal, cultural, okay, technological. So all those, like pastel analysis is the framework. Make a note of it. Use that also while you are crafting, because it's a internationalization case study and market entry case study. Then portfolio analysis, it would be possible in case you are having multiple businesses and multiple markets or multiple products. We might need to use that. Okay, how to downsize, this is another framework. We don't have to use that. Lean management is something you can still use and mention that in a particular market we will have lean office. Lean means let less people and being more productive and doing more job basically, right? Then quality management. Okay, so these are other frameworks. Now any doubt you have on frameworks, do please ask me. So the answer to your framework question is that no one framework is comprehensive. You have to use a potential of multiple frameworks which are available in the marketplace, because solving a case there is no right or wrong solution basically, right? Now any solution is right as long as you are able to demonstrate that your solution path is great, your method of selecting a particular solution and how to you are addressing that problem solution is a right method basically, right? So those methods have to be right. Anything else is like given. Okay, so let's how to start solving a case, next step. Now before that, let me ask you another question. Have we understood the frameworks, and are you aware about some of these frameworks already, or some of these are new to you? Just answer this question basically. Are you clear about frameworks? Say yes, no, maybe.
Ask while presenting the presentation, are we allowed to use multiple frameworks, like both? Can we include both profitability framework and growth framework in
Yes.
one presentation?
Yes, yes, you
Must
can.
be followed
Yes.
only one framework? And
No, you can use a mix of multiple frameworks as long as it is logically helping you taking a decision, final recommendation, right? You can use. Now suppose a complete different view I am sharing with you. Suppose you say that we have done the market sizing of the industry, okay, and as per the market report shared by so and so consulting research company, the market is much mature in North America rather than Middle East. Okay, you might come out with the argument that I would want to go and have office in North America or American market, which is more mature in terms of revenue, in terms of the offerings, in terms of competition, in terms of recognition of this product and service as part of the HR practice basically. So you might come out with a radical view also, provided you are able to justify that radical view with your findings and data. I hope this example makes it clear. You have to make sure that you use multiple frameworks. Some frameworks are already published on public media. Now nobody is talking about culture framework, okay, downsizing framework, quality management, lean management, portfolio analysis, employee productivity, right? So these are some of the frameworks which you should put as an additional novel input from your side. Okay, that how should you compare the culture of these three countries, let's say India, Singapore, and your Middle East, right? So give a comparison chart of culture, give a comparison chart of market size, and then present your ideas and recommendations that okay, we should go into A market like this, we should go into B market like this, and we should go into C market like this. Now a little more introduction before how should you start solving a case. Don't jump to any framework, okay, because framework gives you a limited view of the overall scenario. As a good consultant or as a good case solver, you should always, like when we start a new building, right, how many pillars are there in a particular building? Minimum how many pillars are there when you create a building? Please answer.
4.
Yes, every great building.
4, sir.
Yes, very good. Yeah. So every great building have at least 4 pillars. So So same way in our case also there are minimum 4 pillars which we have to worry about. Number 1 is customer. Have you understood the customer well? Who's my customer? In our case talent tech. Who is the customer for talent tech? Is it B2B? Is it B2C? It is a HR head. It is procurement head. So you have to have clarification of all those pointers around who's my customer here basically, right? Okay, point number 1. Second, what is their product? Okay, and you have to have assumptions of products, like what is the product, how does it benefit, what are the existing products is trying to eliminate from the market, and what is the pricing strategy of my product which is helping them adopt it faster. Okay, so what are additional products which will be integrating with. Like if you have seen the website, I'm sure you would have seen the website so far for the company. They add one slide, they are talking about integrations with other solutions like salesforce.com, right? So they are already talking about integrations with other solutions, right? Now if you are already integrated with that solution, now proposing your software in the app store for that application will become a market entry strategy in that case, right? It's a different solution I'm sharing. I'm not supposed to share solutions, but if you are a integrated solution with part of, let's say, SFDC. Now SFDC has their own app platform. Now listing on those app platforms will open up a market for you irrespective of the country. Now you can select the countries also. Okay, I want to show my app only for people who are coming from Middle East, India and Singapore. This is just one of the solution, right? Since it's a cloud-based software. Okay, but point I'm trying to make, you have to be little innovative in your approach basically, right? Then comes the company. What are the capabilities of the companies, right? How old they are in this market, how many current customers they have, what is their current turnover, right? And are they doing good content marketing? Are they getting more push campaigns or doing pull campaigns? How are they acquiring current customers, right? So if as a consultant, as a case solver, you need to be having clarity about the questions and their answers basically, because these 4 pillars are going to be the foundation of your case. You can have one slide about these 4 pillars and talk about it basically, right? So then the competition, that if you are entering into a particular market, is the competition mature, is there a low competition or there is a high competition? Okay, then what are the regulations from the government? Sometimes suppose you are working on human resource data, every country would have their own compliances and regulation when it comes to employee database, right? Get desired information about a customer, who their customer is, their product, their company, and the competition they have or they would have to be facing in a particular target market. So any comment on this one? Any comment, feedback, any clarity required? Or shall I assume that you all are? Yeah, please. Yes. So is it so simple or it is clear to all of you? If you are not asking any question.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are very much.
Yes, sir. This is Manish Kumar here, and the question is that regarding the company has been started by 2024, and there's nothing much about the old portfolio.
Right. But
So, is there any chance of us getting the recent data in the company's growth and etc.?
Okay, so what you could do basically, first go through the website, go through each and every section of the website. Okay, now secondly, it's an intelligent question. Secondly, also look at the market size. The way I told you that you have to find out certain market research reports which are available in public domain. You don't have to buy those, simply get the extract or abstract of those reports. That will give you some basic idea. Now first go through that company website, go through each and every page. Maybe in some of their resources they will themselves talk about the industry, the market size, the growth potential and all of that, and simply Google basically. See, again, whatever information you are not finding, draft a mail, send to case team and ask them to send the question to the client for clarification, because even if you don't get answer to those questions, but you will show your intellectual curiosity to ask a question. Are you getting the point, Manish?
Yes, sir.
Okay, show your intellectual curiosity to get the answer for a particular problem, right? That is something that you should look at, right? Okay, Grace. Should we move ahead, everyone, or should we stick on this slide only? Tell me, please. Yeah, shall I go ahead? And these are the 4 pillars of solving any case, basically, right? Now coming to the findings, basically. So whatever findings you have, okay, the findings and research should support your recommendation. Suppose as the solution of this case, you are saying that we will enter India via a joint venture. Okay, we will enter. These are examples. These are hypothetical answers, right? Don't take my words, basically. So if you say that I want to enter in Middle East market by having tie-up with or 5 oil companies there, because there you will find large global oil companies, right? Now you might enter into Singapore market by having a liaison office and having tie-up with all the HR software companies, because Singapore is a Asian hub wherein all the global companies tend to make their Asian headquarter mostly in Singapore area, right? That's a normal business acumen and finding, that all global companies will have Asian offices in Asian countries and regional headquarter mostly in Singapore, basically, right? They are already done the right thing by incorporating their office in Singapore, right? Because that's where they can find out, they can create solutions for POCs. POCs means proof of concepts in those countries, and from there they can reach out to global counterparts. Suppose I'm working with a regional HR head for a global company, so I can simply get a pilot done easily. Okay, for any of these software companies, the first objective of getting into the market is to have more and more companies trying out these product solutions, right? And these are called POCs, proof of concepts, basically. Now if you are able to get more, let's say if in a market you are able to get 20 customers which are paying you monthly as and they're like, you can do free POC to start. That could be your strategy, that I will do free POC, but once they like the POC and the results coming out of that POC, then I will offer them a monthly annual subscription plan which they will sign up and pay, basically, right? Now that is something that we will you can be again tinkers for the final solution. Don't go by my words, create the solution of your own, basically. Now the solution findings should be supported by quantitative methods as well as qualitative methods. This is something that any consulting organization or a brand would love to see, that if your presentation contains charts, graphs, market research report mentions that according to this market research report, the data is 18 billion for by 2030. This corporate rewards and market is going to be around 18 billion by 2030. Quote these numbers, show them big way, right? Show them like infographics, basically, because all of these are your primary and secondary data findings, right? Then your business analysis, like how do you analyze this business and the growth of that business according to your point of view, basically. Then you can also look at basically the data based on your assumptions. Now where you don't get data, okay, then you have to take assumptions. Suppose they don't show the current number of clients data and number of turnover and profitability margins, right? Now this is a framework of profitability, like, okay, which country will offer me more market size, more share of the market and more margin, basically. So okay, those things are important for you to consider as well. So make assumptions in that case, and tell the board while making final presentation or maybe the evaluation presentation in the first round, say that since I did not find answers to these questions, so my assumption is that they have 20 clients, they have 20 crore turnover, and they are like their margin is 30%. So make assumptions. So where you don't have any answer, make assumptions and stick to those assumptions. Now companies want you to follow a process. Okay, what will happen if I tell you the actual turnover? What extra you will do in that solution, right? So it does not matter, basically. The process matters. Following a process and going through that process line is the most important thing to follow. Quantitative information as part of your findings, which will support the recommendations which you are making finally to the client, basically, right? Then comes qualitative data. Now to differentiate yourself, I will give you my example. We were pitching to India Mart, which is one of the SME portal which has so what we did, So they were asking us to make a growth strategy using digital media. I'm just sharing one example, and you have to come and pitch us. Okay. Now we created this market into four type of companies. Okay. One very mature global company. Okay. One national level company. One local company which is like having even a single HR executive. Okay. And one startup company which is not having even HR guy. Right. Now we created a slide. We recorded video interviews. Okay, in your case, you are not going to Singapore or Middle East or India, or you are already in India basically. So to do interviews, but you can record your friends and ask them to role play a particular role and then present their data in the video recorded format in one slide basically. You say that since we were given marketing budget, research budget, so we have gone into the market, we have screened these four people, they belong to four different segments of my product, the product which I am selling, and what they have to say, let's listen to them basically. So let there be 15 secondary video clips of these four segments and let them present. Now this is going to be revolutionizing what other people will never think about it, right? So create your solution by taking actual customers feedback. Now you are not going to go to actual customers because we don't have time. Otherwise you could have created a questionnaire, send it to those HR heads and asking them that are you satisfied with your rewards solution in your company, or how satisfied you are with the current reward solutions in your company. What if I offer you a SaaS based software? That's how you can generate leads for them also, right? But since we don't have time, so you say that we have segmented the market into four different type of companies. These are the HR heads of these companies we have interviewed, and I am presenting their key statement. So one statement for each one of them will create revolution in the way we should present the solution. Is that clear to all of you? Pictures or quotes will do, or video recordings will create a great impact. Things like, again, they would want to see your process. How did you go about following a process? Okay, you say that these are four different HR heads in four different segments. I interviewed them and they have given one line. Okay, so those things create instant impact, them a wow factor. Okay, so we are here to wow them basically. So if you are able to wow them now, you will be able to wow them in future while you join them basically, right? And some of you might get a job offer while we are doing this exercise. Some of you might get selected also. You wouldn't know that, but these companies might like to offer you jobs also. So go with that perspective, that if I do this well for next 2-3 days, I might have a placement letter in my hand by Friday, and my family will be so happy. My father will be so proud that okay, he has invested that much money on me, on my business education, and this guy has performed excellently in this exercise, and because of which he has got a first placement letter before even placement season has actually started. So is that good enough to motivate you guys? So think that this is your job interview, okay, and do and die situation is there. Like in life, we perform only when there is do and die situation. Okay, there was another girl trying to say something. Please welcome.
Yeah. Sir, I'm Abhigna, BBA third year.
Yes,
So
Abhigna.
I just had a question. So do we hypothetically interpret all the data, or since as somebody mentioned earlier, even I've gone to the website, it has just started out, so there's like no past history of the company
Right.
or anything.
Right.
So do we hypothetically interpret all of it?
No,
And
but see, one is
give valid reasons for the hypothetical interpretation.
no. There is nothing called. See, Abhigna, they have not created something out of the blue. This industry already exists. This industry has a market size potential. It's just that we are not aware about it. Number one. Okay. Secondly, if they are new in this domain, there would be their competition. So can you simply go and type rewards software industry in players in Singapore? Just simply type that, you will get 10 players name, right?
Okay, so you can take their competitors and do the analysis and justify it to them.
Yes, you will have market size report also from various companies.
All right.
And you will have the competition names. Simply type competition name and say turnover. You will see that you can mention that I analyze the competition. This company is called ABC in Singapore and they have a market turnover of this much. It means they have that many clients. And by scanning their website, you can even find out the name of those clients who are using this solution. So that shows your comprehensiveness while preparing the solution.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Got it? Any other point or any other question? So in the qualitative side, you have to show or project customer or the segment feedback. You can include pictures, video recordings. Okay, you can even include bites from the interviews which you did. Right now, these are qualitative findings which actually excites and CEOs basically. Right. So if you're showing this presentation to a CEO and you share that video recording, so they will say wow. Right. So try to improvise upon it. Now this is just a direction. You might not need it or you might need it. That is your call or your team's call, that how do you want to go about creating this solution for the client. Okay, coming to presentation and enthusiasm. Now this is something that will actually help you win the presentation, not the content of the presentation. And mark my words, what I'm saying is very clear. Your content might be not so good, but the way you present and the way you show enthusiasm about presenting, okay, that makes or breaks the team. If the jury is divided into two parts, on one company with good solution, bad presentation, and other company with bad presentation content but good presentation, right? So they will always go for people who are good in their presentation part, even if the content was not, even if the solution was not good basically. So make sure that the basic principle in life is that the winning team does not present a different solution, because they would know if they have to enter a market, they will enter. Okay, they just need to know that how they should enter. Okay, what are the methods of entering? So in a market entry scenario, what happens? There are 10 different methods to enter a market, right? Okay, now as a solution recommender, you have to say that okay, in this market this is the preferred method of entering, in this market this is the preferred method of entering, in this market this is the preferred method of entering. Now this is something that you will make recommendation of. Now sometimes the solution might not be a different solution, right? Okay, but how you present it differently, that makes you a winning team. Now what are the good points which you have to keep in mind? Now let the leader introduce the team and their roles in the case, and he should be able to conclude that. So when you are presenting to the first evaluation committee or to the final client, the leader should start the conversation. He will introduce himself, he will introduce all the team members and their names and their roles, what they have done in this particular part, so as to show collective wisdom and collective effort from the team basically. That is one part. Then he should finally come in while making the synthesis slide or final recommendation for conclusion basically, right? That is something that we need to look at. Then use 2D graphics like I have used in this particular presentation. Point I'm trying to make, that sometimes use 2D graphics. Again, these kind of graphics are the contemporary creativity, right? Contemporary creativity, contemporary companies are using these kind of graphics. These are like open source, free, royalty free. Then you can use props. Props are like some material. Suppose if you're launching a product, so maybe a sample of the product is called a prop. Okay, you can use props. You can use animations. Suppose you are showing to show a particular screen or website or mobile app, you can show animated screen, okay, or video. You can show a video, you can show creativity and use templates while making presentation. Use, and they have given you the flow. Okay, this is the flow. Number of slides they have not mentioned. Time they have mentioned that okay, you have to use this much time. So the time is the only limiting factor. Creativity is not a limiting factor here. So you can be as creative as you want, up to you to decide basically. Each team member shall present a slide and explain. Now everyone should have a role in the final presentation, even to the final internal teams and external teams. Now each member should present a slide or a part of it basically, right? It shows inclusivity, it shows teamwork, it shows collective wisdom basically, right? Okay, even if it is online, it does not matter. You can, the person who is presenting the slide should introduce to the next person, and then the other person will take over and start presenting basically. Okay, then while presenting, focus your eye movement on all the members in the panels. If suppose there are 3 people sitting, if there are 5 people sitting, while you're presenting, to make sure that you make eye contact with each of the participant. Now in case of online it is difficult, but in case it is a physical exercise like you will do it internally in the classrooms tomorrow, there you should maintain eye contact with each one of the panel member basically, so that you convince each one of them. So when you look at into their eye level, okay, your message gets delivered directly, right? So make sure that you may maintain eye contact and you deliver your message accordingly. Then stick to the time frame, finish in dot time. Don't ask for more time or less time, or don't finish in less time, because if you have been allocated X amount of minutes, use those X amount of minutes. In case you finish early, then the presenter will come, the leader will come, and he will try to engage the team till the time you dot the entire time. So don't waste your time, don't overrun it, don't underrun it. Try to finish in exactly the same time basically, right? So that's how you will show professionalism and value for time for them and value for time for your own team basically. Okay, then be jovial, enthusiastic and positive. Like you have to be jovial, you have to, don't, jovial doesn't mean that you have to crack a joke with the team, but be positive basically. So be enthusiastic that you are the only team who is going to win. So work in such a way that show to your other rivals that we are the team who is going to win. Just ignore everyone else in the world basically. So if you work with that kind of concentration, the results will also be behaving like that basically, right? Okay, then say yes to any feedback or solution path. Suppose you select a solution path or a framework or problem drivers, okay, there are chances that the panel member might say that, okay, no, this is not the right approach, the right approach is something like this. So always say yes to them, okay, because they are seniors, they have more industry knowledge. Okay, you are enthusiastic, you are brilliant, you are prodigy, you are a great avatar on this world, but forego your ego for, or your father is a multimillionaire, forego all those egos at that time, that okay, I have to only go and work for my father's company. So leave those all egos behind, listen to them, say yes, and in case you disagree with his point of view, then you should, if in case you disagree with the panel member, then you should give your logical reasoning with data basically. Sometimes they will try to test your critical thinking by posing a wrong question and asking you to agree to that. You should never agree, and you should never deviate from your solution path. So whatever solution path you have decided as a team, stick to that. Is that clear? So these are like pointers from presentation and enthusiasm point of view.